Jeff Henry, aka Tech Mogul.
Yo, what's up?
Fuck it, delegate.
Hey, welcome to Fuck It, Delegate, the podcast that helps you delegate shit that's getting in the way of your business. My name is Chris.
And I'm Jeff.
And today we got a special guest here. And Jeff, why don't you go ahead and introduce our special guest?
Guys, I'm very excited for this guest. This is Javier Font, one of my closest friends in Orlando, Florida. Runs a brokerage, successful educator, multimillionaire. Got a nice, beautiful
that
Lamborghini.
Lambo is nice.
So, Javier, introduce yourself to everybody, man.
For starters, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here today with you guys. I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to jump on your podcast. I'm a true believer in this fuck it, delegate it. So my full name is Ernesto Javier Font. Most people know me as Javier on Instagram. Javier Inspire Me. Go follow me. But yeah, that's me.
So, Javier, let's jump right into this so-called dive in. I heard that saying a couple times today. Let's dive in and tell us, where did you get started from? Like let's go into your background.
Yeah, how did you get started in real estate?
So my dad was the one that actually inspired me to get involved with real estate. Mm-hmm. He moved out here in 2009, and I was actually left up north running his liquor store at the time. Mm-hmm. And when I saw his whole lifestyle change, all the freedom he was getting, that overnight success is not really overnight, but I would see how his life just changed. That inspired me to get involved with real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, so he owned a liquor store,
Mm-hmm.
got out the liquor store business into real estate.
Yep.
So most of the kids I know, like I have kids, and they're like, they don't want to do nothing that I'm doing. Right? I'm in real estate. I'm like, yo, get into real estate. They're like, Yeah. So how was it that he was able to get you to jump into real estate and be inspired by him to actually do that?
He's actually the one that put seeds in my mind to just look at the opportunity. But like a kid, I was always hard-headed, It's not like I took his advice and ran with real estate. It was, he put the seeds in me, and then I went out and I searched a little bit. So there was one night that I was watching TV late at night, 2, 3 in the morning. I see infomercials on Dean Graziosi. And Dean Graziosi was offering free books at the time on how you can make $5,000 in less than 30 days. And that was way back in the day. And then I went ahead and I ordered the book, and I started reading the book. So I started putting two and two together on what my dad was really doing in Florida. And after reading the book, I put it to work, and I started just growing a passion for real estate while I was working at the liquor store. But if I don't have the right individuals, or if I'm not around my dad rubbing shoulders or with him on a day-to-day, I'm pretty much lost. So I tried to do it. I failed a bunch of times. I didn't see the results that I wanted quick, So that led me to while I was working at the liquor store, I met a bunch of the wrong influences. Managing running a liquor store, managing the liquor store. I met bookies, I met drug dealers, connects for anything. So that led me down the wrong path, on the easy money path. And then that led me to, a little destruction. So seeing that, then my dad decided to sell the store, and he gave me the opportunity to move to Florida. And that's the time that I said, well, enough's enough. I took the opportunity, and I came. But then when I came with the wrong mindset. I came with the same mindset that I had up north, and that led me to fail here, where I went for my real estate license. I failed. It just wasn't working. Nothing that he was teaching me or trying to influence me to do was working. So that led me to go back up north, bump my heads for another 8 months, until in 2010, I decided to really just change my life and come here and focus. And that's the biggest thing with this podcast is whoever's listening out there, you got to decide. Once you are in a desperation mode, you have to decide when's enough. When's enough to give up all the bullshit and say, fuck it, let me just really focus on something that's really is going to change my life. Because it's proven. If I see my dad's being successful, all his colleagues, all his investor buddies are successful, why can't I be successful? It's just that I'm not taking the time to master something or learn a new skill set to get the results they got.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's powerful. That's a lot of gems that you just gave
A
everybody.
lot
there.
of gems. And there was so much in that whole conversation that we can unravel as well, right? Talk about failures, which I think is probably very important with success, right? So you said you failed a lot. You went back to New York. You went in the wrong crowd.
Connecticut.
Sorry.
He does have a New York voice, though.
My bad. Up north, you said.
Up north.
Okay, so you said up north. I always think up north, New York, because I'm from New York. But anyway, up north.
The Mecca.
Right. So let's talk about the failures. What, like, the failures that happen that catapulted you? Because I look at failures, and Chris can attest to this. We look at failures differently because, like, we always think about failing forward. We learn from a failure and we implement the changes, and we drive from that in a successful way, right? So when you had these failures, and let's dive into it a little bit. What kind of failures were it? How did you benefit from it? And what good came out of that?
Well, right away, growing up, I seen my parents had a fallout and a divorce. So I saw that as a failure, not only for them, but for the whole family. And then I also experienced where I wasn't taught financial literacy. My mom and my dad didn't teach me on how to budget correctly or save correctly or invest correctly. So I always wanted things before I earned them. So when I knew I can grab credit cards and grab the Jordans or the clothes or whatever I wanted, then that's what I would do. I would max out my credit cards, go look fresh, but then I have to work to pay those credit cards. So I was always behind those bills. I was never ahead. And then once I would save money, hustling, then things would happen. And I feel like that's all karma from the enemy. Sometimes God just teaches you lessons, and that's a lesson that maybe he didn't give me the things that I wanted right away because I didn't earn them. And not only that, I felt like as I was, hustling to get this money, he knew that wasn't the right way. So then things would happen, like my tire would burst or the car, or something would always happen where I would save up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, and right away I had the whole savings account would dwindle, and that's just karma, I think, But yeah, that's one of the failures. Obviously, broken relationships is another failure because no one actually taught me on how to communicate well, how to build relationships, how to evaluate morals and values in a female. So it was just, sometimes we look at a female, well, back then I would look at a female, and just because they were pretty or whatever, then that just led to things, and it just led to destruction, because no one really taught me how to be in a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're saying that, I kind of look at things and I understand there's a turning point, right? And there's a time where you go through situations where you literally at the rock bottom, right? And you have to look up, right? So, with that situation, what did you hold on to that helped change and turn your life around? What was your rock?
My grandma was always my rock because she's the one that influenced me to believe in God. And as a kid, hard-headed, I didn't want people preaching on me or talking about God or reading the Bible or going to church, listening to music, worshiping. I didn't like none of that. And at the time, they would go to Catholic, and those services were way too long for me. So it was just a lot of things that just wasn't fitting with me. Yeah. But it was still those seeds. I'm a believer that I leave seeds in life. We all leave seeds in life. And then over time, you water those seeds and they flourish. So that seed of faith and belief was always implanted in me. And then it just took time until God worked in me to flourish it all out. So it's just my grandma. My grandma was the one. And then after all the struggle in 2011, I decided to accept God as my Lord and Savior, and everything it just changes when you decide to live right. We all know right from wrong. I was constantly saying I wasn't gonna drink, smoke, gamble, party, female partying. But it would lead me back to it. So then until I accepted God as my Lord and Savior and decided to live righteous, that's when everything changed. Because it's like we all know right from wrong. sometimes we just get led to do wrong things because nobody's watching, but God is always watching, you know? So it's just on you as a person overall to commit to living right, and then good things come from being and living right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's huge.
Powerful.
Very, very, very much so. So you've been through the failures. You know, we recognize that turning point, and the seeds are planted actually took root, and now you're on that path. So when you actually, you know, got your real estate license, and can you take us through like that first deal where you felt like you are actually hitting that corner of change, and the mindset and the different things that you had to go through to actually be successful?
The biggest thing is hanging around successful people. So in 2011, I got licensed finally to get my real estate license, but I never got it because I wanted to be a big realtor. I got it because I was from 2009 to 2011. I was reading books. I was eventually rubbing shoulders with my dad and other investors, and I just love the investor role. I mean, the investor world, you know. I love how you can invest something, either be on a flip or rental. The whole BRRRR system that I learned at the time. It's just for those
that don't know the BRRRR system, because it's an acronym.
Yep.
Tell them exactly what the acronym is.
So the BRRRR system is when you buy a property. Usually I buy them at a discount. So you buy it, you renovate it, you rent it, you refinance it, and then you repeat the process. And typically most banks will give you 75%. So you got to buy them at 70 or less in order for everything to make sense. But yeah, just rubbing shoulders with the right individuals was it for me. I decided to get licensed so I can get more established with the real estate language, and learning the real estate language helped me communicate better with savvy investors, savvy buyers. Not only that, I saw it as an opportunity to earn commission. So not only was I investing at the time, wholesaling, which is where you buy a property at a discounted price, you assign the rights to another buyer for a fee. Not only was I doing property management, now I was helping buyers, sellers, investors, and renters for a commission. So it was just different money all over the place. A lot of the time I was double dipping, meaning like I would find a buyer, that I had a seller, I would match the two and make both sides of commission. So it was just, but I learned all that by sticking around the right individuals and people that were doing that. Because if I wasn't sticking around people that were already in the business, and I was around rookies or people that are not savvy in real estate, then it would take me a much longer time to get the results that I got early on.
So I mean, that
proximity.
Absolutely. So that's that power of your circle, just like you said. Those type of individuals that are, you know, that have experienced and went through those heartaches or those pains or bumps and bruises, they can level you up within one conversation. I mean, that's huge. So your dad was definitely that who in your life.
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then he introduced me to other savvy investors that taught me, you know, their mindset. Because every person's mindset. My dad he influenced me and inspired me to get into real estate, but he's not the best teacher. Sometimes you can have that person that'll point you in the right direction, but just can't give you the roadmap.
Right.
But his guidance, because he read a lot of books, went to a lot of seminars, a lot of the material he had, he would share with me, and then I would be a sponge to it. And then what I learned from my dad is more practical, because I learned from hearing him, being around him, negotiating, conversations, closings, when he would talk to buyers or sellers, all that practical sweat equity, you know, that's how I really learned the game.
I like that. Is that another shirt?
That is another shirt. Sweat equity. I like that. Javier's like, use that word so many times. Yeah, we're just gonna take that word, that phrase.
Javier inspired me.
Love it. So, your dad, you know, taught you a lot about real estate, but again, like, proximity is power. Because what we really actually want to talk a little bit about this, because it's so powerful being someone, you know, around someone that's already in real estate. Because I did an infomercial like you did, had to pay tons of money to be in that room to learn from other investors. And so what is do you believe in masterminds, paying for mentors, you know, getting people like extracting the knowledge from it. Because I spent like a lot of money. One time in 2018, I spent $85,000 on education. And so most people think that's crazy, right? But you're actually learning from people that learn from their mentors and their mentors and their mentors. And so now people can learn from me that I've learned from tons of different mentors that I produce it in my own value. And that's what you're getting from your dad and your circle around you and other people. So talk about like the power of like, you know.
Well, I think that I'll say that, almost reiterate what Jeff is saying. It's just maybe another way of saying it. We as a generation, right? Our generation, we don't have access to the financial literacy that you'll be talking about, right? So now our parents typically, you know, your dad was very financial literate, but typically they're, you know, coming out of school, college degree, maybe, right? My mom and dad had a college degree, but typically maybe not, right? And they don't understand how to educate the next generation, us, on how to go about how to take care of your finances, how to really kind of, you know, get to that next level.
Non-existent.
Well, I mean, because we're generations behind of other, you know,
Yeah.
the majority of the country. But now we have that opportunity. But now what I want you to do is talk about how other individuals may not have that opportunity, or may not have been presented with the opportunity to talk to somebody that is financially literate. And what advice would you give to them on how to get the information, basically on what is available to them, social media, all types of things, right?
Yeah, I would say what holds back a lot of the time is what I say, the 2 C's, courage and confidence. Like a lot of people don't have the courage to go into people's inboxes, just talk to people. And that all definitely goes back to confidence too. You got to be confident in yourself. You know, when I first started, I heard a phrase, fake it to make it. You know, even if you had no results, leverage someone else's results. And at the time, my dad was successful, so even though I had no success, I would leverage his success to get in the door. So I would say go on social media, but then also in social media, you also have to know there's a lot of fakeness. Yeah. There's a lot of cap. There's a lot of false information.
Yeah. How do you identify that difference?
Somebody will go to an event and learn something and then quickly start teaching it. See, I've been in real estate now, I'd say since 2009, because that's when I first got introduced, and then that's when I started hitting the books. 12 years experience as to somebody that goes into an event and a year later is selling programs.
Right.
Won't
It
give
happens
you
very often.
Yeah, very, very often. So I would say you have to reach out to the individuals, and then you have to audit that individual. Like, as far as, you know, see who they are, hang around them before you commit to their program or commit to their services. And maybe they're not the fit, but maybe through them you can get the person that is the key person that's teaching it. Yeah. Now, because schools ain't giving this information, college ain't giving this information, go to events. That's something that I started doing. Go to seminar, go to events, and start rubbing shoulders with like-minded individuals. And after you meet like-minded individuals, follow up with them. Take them to lunch, breakfast, dinner. See if you can hang out, mastermind. And then through that, you're going to get those right individuals that are the ones that are leading you to that success. I've always said be a sponge to YouTube and also Google, and YouTube. But it's just at the end of the day, if you want, it's like a drug addict. If you want drugs, you're gonna find it.
Right.
But you gotta look for it. So it's the same thing. If you want to be successful, look for the people that are successful. Either have the things you want, have the lifestyle you want, and start attacking them. Reach out to them. Yeah. Because then that's a way to level up. Yeah. Going back to the programs, I'm a true believer in mentorship. It's something that at the time, not only Dean Graziosi, but Clint Clothier I was starting going to his event at 1-800-SELL-NOW, committed to a lot of programs. You have to invest in yourself. You have to. At the time, my dad sprinkled the seeds of real estate, but that's because of the books and the seminars that he attended. But then I took it a step further where I wanted to learn where exactly and how exactly the top producers were doing business. Systemizing, automation, that's where you can scale. Because if you don't systemize, you don't, make things easier for yourself, it's going to be hard to scale. You're going to get good results, but it's going to be hard to scale.
Facts. I think you went through the same funnel I did.
Right.
Dean Graciosi, Ken Collier, Sean Terry, that whole world.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in your business now, let's look at your operation, right? So you have a brokerage.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. When did you decide to switch into the brokerage? When did you say, okay, I want to do the brokerage now? Like you started off with the wholesaling and you got your real estate license.
Yep.
And
So it was wholesaling, my real estate license. From 2009 to 2011, I was a student to the game. 2011, I got licensed. From 2011 to 2013, I was just a realtor, and then in between that time, I also started my investment company. Then in 2013, my dad had corner stores and liquor stores up north. It was Font's Market and Font's Discount. I wanted to carry the last name. I wanted to bring it out and keep his legacy going, because once he started growing with his flips and his rental portfolio, he just said there was too much risk in owning a brokerage, that he didn't need it. So then I took it upon myself, because I built a group of investors, and they constantly stated that they wanted to deal with a real estate broker, because I can have different connections within asset managers and the banking. So then I said, you know what, I'm just gonna continue it. I prayed on it, and then I continued it, and went to school and got my brokerage. A year later, another thing is, when I was with all my other brokerages, I really wasn't in control. Right. And I wanted to be in control. Everyone, typically when they have an operation, they want to have some sort of control. And I wanted to not only pay myself what I wanted to get paid, for those commission splits, I wanted to give a service to the other agents. I thought I wasn't getting the things that I wanted, so I wanted to start giving those agents that I envisioned having the things that I wasn't getting. So in 2014, I started the brokerage, and that's the main reason, is because I wanted to continue the legacy, my last name.
That's dope.
Is your brokerage?
Font's Statewide Realty.
Okay. Just want to make sure your last name is in there. I'm like, you say you want to continue your legacy, so I'm like, it's got to be something with Font.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. How many agents do you have?
So right now I have just under 13. 13 agents, yep.
Dope.
So 13 agents is like a mom and pop shop. It's not a big company. I want to be able to provide for the agents. Be there. I do a lot of one-on-one trainings, not only for buyer presentation, seller presentation. I just want to be there, you know?
Wow. That's really dope. I mean, the whole story in itself, but now we know that getting to that level definitely takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
How did you, I mean, you can't be everywhere at once. How did you get there? And what systems or tools did you utilize? Did you utilize delegation in that process to help you get to where you need to get to?
You have virtual assistants.
Yeah. So virtual assistants definitely.
You like this. You got happy. You like, yeah.
Yeah, no, virtual assistants is definitely the way to go whenever you want to scale a business and delegate. Also, a lot of family and friends. So a lot of my brother, my cousins, and close family members are within the brokerage. So I've influenced them and inspired them to go out and get their license. They all come from corporate jobs, most of them, and they decided to take the switch because they saw the success that I was having. But systems, like CRM, having a good CRM, having good lead generation systems. I'm a big believer in prospecting, all over. Everyone is a prospect, and then you got to convert those prospects to leads, and then those leads with follow-up convert to transactions. So it's just, that's the whole CRM and having systems in place. Those are the tools that has helped me delegate a lot and be able to have more free time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what would you say, like if you have somebody that's looking to make that transition, right? Somebody that is in between, say maybe doing their wholesaling and they're getting a little spread thin, what would be the first hire that you would suggest to somebody to actually help scale their business if they're in real estate?
That's a good question.
I would say hire a VA. Hire a VA or a personal assistant. A lot of personal assistants can also help you with like grocery shopping, washing clothes, the little miscellaneous
Do you wash your own
things.
clothes?
Right now I do. but at times I didn't, you know. But
I
yeah,
wash
it's
my own
just
clothes,
it's just
too.
so I have I have mentors
Actually.
in all different areas, and I have a mentor that I used to rent his apartments, and he said anything that's 7, 8, 9, all the way to $15 an hour, delegate all those tasks. He said it because
Absolutely.
how he asked me was, right now, if I was to present you a wholesale deal, what would be the minimum dollar amount you would make? And I said about $5,000, $5,000 to $10,000, but 5,000 wanted to be realistic. So he said, well, I want you to do everything that's $5,000 or above, and everything that's 5,000 or below, you delegate. And I started implementing that, and it's just changed everything.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you know, we only have 24 hours in a day. You know, typically 8 hours is to work, 8 hours is to sleep, and then you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, an hour each. You probably have about 4 to 5 hours to be productive. It's just a matter of how you're going to manage those hours.
And most people spend those 4 to 5 hours on watching Netflix, going out drinking, or doing whatever, right?
Yep.
Swiping left and right on Bumble, whatever it is.
So they're not productive at all, right? But to be productive, like you're saying, is delegation, right? Having someone come in there doing, we call it a $5 task, but $15, $20, whatever it is, that is below your $5,000 minimum, which I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, just like Jeff and everybody said, and I'm just reiterating the whole process, but we all have that same 24 hours, right? You have the same 24 hours as Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah, whoever your idol might be, Barack Obama for me, whatever, right? You have the same 24 hours as them. Why are they so much successful than you, right? And it's really about how they use their time.
Correct.
And what they do in the time they have.
Yeah.
That's why I called my third company After Hours Success. So what you do after hours leads to success.
There you go.
You know, a lot of individuals are working and not going after hours. Either it doesn't have to necessarily be over or like at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. It could be the person that worked their shift and then has the morning. You know, it's how much of how passionate you are to change your life. You know, you have to be passionate about whatever it is that you want. You can't say you want something you've never gotten if you don't do the things you've never done. You know, so it's like you have to commit to whatever it is that you want. And sometimes if it's sacrificing sleep, then it is what it is. You take naps. You know, and that's how a lot of these celebrities do it. They take naps. You know, either on their jets or to the next studio session or their next film or whatever it is. They're not making an excuse. Whenever you want something really, really bad, you're gonna do things, that you've never done.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I think After Hour Success might be another T-shirt.
So it's funny that he said the After Hours Success because I do have a company that I started back in the day was called Mastermind After Dark. Because being part of a lot of masterminds, I realized being in the classroom, you can gain so much knowledge. But the best knowledge always came from when you're at the bar or the networking events after, right? That's when you actually rub shoulders with those people and get the real knowledge, the juicy details of what's going on.
Yep.
And so I call it Mastermind After Dark, kind of like your After Hours Success.
Yeah. It's similar concept, man. Because I remember when I was first getting in real estate, I would work overnight at Disney. So a little short story, I moved here. Broke. I had about $2,500 for first month and security deposit, and I was collecting unemployment from Connecticut. And because once we sold the liquor store, I applied, got the unemployment. But once the unemployment ended, it forced me to go to Disney, and I was working overnight at Disney from 11 to 7. So I would leave at 10 and return home at 8. I would eat a bowl of cereal, take a shower, and go to sleep. But then 2-3 hours later, get up and hit the books on real estate. So it was like after my after hours success, I wasn't going home and sleeping those 8 hours. I was not like I forced myself to get a job because I had bills, and then those bills covered. Those payments covered the bills, but I knew that my longevity was with real estate, but I had to commit. So that means I had to sacrifice sleep, and it just I couldn't put an excuse over what I really wanted. That those late night shifts were just so. I felt like a slave. Yeah. I used to clean where people walk in the parks with a hose. I used to power wash the concrete because people would spit, gum, food, but that, that pushed me to say, fuck this, I'm going to really make it in life, and I am going to promise myself to never punch in and out of work ever again.
Yeah. Well, that's
Bro,
dope.
like, I just want to say something that you held a lot back. Like, you should have said this from the beginning. Like, this was amazing shit. Like, you went from the gutter, cleaning, working for Disney. You're a millionaire now. Lambo, big house, brokerage.
Humble though,
like,
humble. Always
very
always,
humble,
yeah.
very humble. And like, but this was a struggle from the very beginning. Like, you went from the bottom, now you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is, I think, is very important to show, because a lot of people always see the success, the Lambos, the cars, the houses, but don't know what you went through to get that.
Yeah.
The sacrifices you did.
Yeah. When my parents divorced, it was hard, man. It was hard. I would see my dad every other weekend or every weekend at times, because he was so focused on getting successful himself. And sometimes a lot of people say that I got things from my dad. The one thing that I got from my dad is that inspiration to get involved in real estate, but he never gave me anything,
Yeah.
If anything, if I would come into a scram and I needed, 5,000, whatever I needed, he would lend it to me with interest. So, and that taught me a lesson too, to always be responsible in life. If I got anything from my dad, was to be responsible, hardworking, and never give up. And then I got the kindness, caring, loving, faithfulness from my mom's side of the family.
Yeah. Well, that's dope. I think that, when I think about your story, number one, I'm glad you weren't Mickey Mouse. So
Yeah. I don't know.
I
think I'd rather be Mickey Mouse than scrubbing some floors.
As long as you keep the mask on, I'm just
trying to say my face is ugly.
But no, what I think is that you had a goal in mind. You knew that this wasn't your last stop. You knew that there was something else for you, right? And I think that obviously, your dad was an inspiration to help you get there. He gave you the seeds, but like a lot of people say, you can give the horse water, but you can't make it drink, right? You can lead the horse water, you can't make it drink, right? So that gives you a lot to understand how to deal with individuals that may be struggling in their particular mind. Maybe this season, they're trying to figure themselves out. They have to go through that process. They have to get molded in a sense, right? They have to go through their own storm. And in that storm, there is, if they keep their head straight, there is shining, there's a rainbow on the other side. Correct. If they continue down that path. Now, when you have gotten to that, I'm sorry, I kind of lost where I was going with that.
It was good though.
But fuck it.
I kind of like it. I was like, cool. Good shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask, and it went away from me. So, okay, when you have gone through that, and you've gone through that transformation, struggle with it.
He totally
I had too much wine.
fucked up. So I want to dive into a little bit and actually, with the delegation part, right? So we're delegating. You've been taught about delegation, right? Because obviously from your mentors teaching you this. Now,
the biggest two lessons that I learned as I was transitioning from a regular person that worked to now the success that I have is once I learned that you can use other people's money to be successful, because I always thought you needed to get approved, you need to have a lot of money, you had to have good credit. Once I mastered how you can use other people's money to make money, and then also how I can use other people's time, or how I can leverage other people's time to make money, but then also bless them at the same time with work and an income, that really changed the game, for me.
that was a formula.
Yeah. I mean, my investment company. So first I had my investment company, then the brokerage, and the educational company. My heart is with the investment overall. I'm an investor at heart, entrepreneur at heart. I just love investing. Once I learned that I can have individuals like roofers, electricians, plumbers, I didn't have to do the work. A lot of people I see, they buy the houses and they want to save money by doing everything themselves, but I decided to go a different way. I wanted to delegate that shit and then go find more deals so that I can keep them working for life.
Absolutely.
And that's what you just said is so powerful, because most people think that they're actually saving money when they're actually not saving money
losing
at all.
money.
They're losing because you could be in and out of a property like this
Yeah.
because you delegated when
Yeah.
they're still working on their first home.
Right.
You're on to your next one.
They can possibly be saving money, but not saving time.
Right. And which time is money.
Time is money.
Exactly.
Absolutely. They could get 5 more deals in the time that they're
100%.
fixing the same roof themselves. So I do have my question. I'm back.
Fuck it, Chris is back.
So what the question I was going towards is individuals that 9 to 5, right? People are so comfortable in that 9 to 5. How do they get out of it? And what's the mentality behind having a 9 to 5 that you think people need to break loose to be able to take that chance to get into entrepreneurship?
The biggest thing is if they are tired, they're sick and tired of being tired. So if they're working 9 to 5, I know a lot of people that work 9 to 5 and they're extremely happy because they keep their overhead low. You know, if you can keep your overhead low, you can still have the trips that you want. You can still get the things that you want. You have a great career, making 100, 200,000 on whatever it is career that you're working. Great, you know, I salute you. But if you're that same individual that's tired, like I know a lot of nurses, doctors, policemen, firefighters, that they give it all for that career, but they're tired, they're miserable. For those individuals, I would say you have to stretch your comfort zone after hours and read that book. Go after that business that you want to open or that career you want to enter, because you have to find the time. Most people's excuses, they don't have enough money or they don't have enough time. But if you have, the thing is that people have enough time for things that interest them and things that make things that you make a priority. So if they don't make it a priority to be successful in life or to start their own business, then they don't really want it.
Right.
And that's okay. You stay in your lane. But people that want to see the world, people that want to give their kids the world, we live in a world of abundance. You see, I believe that God gave us life with a purpose. And our purpose in life, all of our purpose in life here, is to create. That's it. It's to create a life. But some people get comfortable with the life they have and forget the vision and the purpose that God gave us, which is to create.
I mean, literally tatted on my chest. Purpose of life is a life of purpose. I had that since forever because I do believe in that. So that's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to laugh. I know you want to say something.
Well, okay, so
Knowing him.
yeah, so the guy that,
tattoos on your chest.
yeah, the guy that
The biggest
tattooed it was
thing is,
practicing on his chest. But
Whatever.
Having your money work for you. I believe everyone should have their money work for them.
absolutely.
You know, but a lot of people work, they get money, and then they put it in a savings account, IRA, CD, the stock, and it never grows, it never moves. I'm a believer in, we have average lifespan is 78.7 years of life, rounded to 80 years times 365 days. We all have 29,200 days to live once we get out our mothers.
And
That's
he
a
did not.
Ken Collier format,
He
by the
did
way.
not have his phone to look that up.
That's a Ken Collier format. We learned that.
Yeah, it's like 29,200
Exactly how- yep.
days.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and that's at 80
do you
years.
want to waste your time or do you want to start delegating?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, get to the next level.
Because the thing is, when you have 29,200 days of life, right now that's at 80 years. If you're at 40 or higher, that's half of that. Then you
Right.
have to minus work, sleep, all the BS time. I want to spend my precious time with the people I love the most.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you literally put down on a calendar tick sheet how much days you have left, that
It's
shit
scary.
hits you
It's
for
scary.
real.
I mean, you can break it down to the seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could.
Can.
Yeah.
You can.
You break it down.
I mean, I'm not going to. That's a lot of work. But at the end of the day, it's like you think about each minute that goes by, you're like, man, what have I done? Or each hour that passes you by, what have I done to be successful? What have I done to get to my goal? And not everybody's in the same boat. Some people are very comfortable where they're at, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody has their own journey. But for people that they feel like they're meant for more. They have a true north that they feel like they haven't accomplished yet. They haven't been on that path. Now is that time for you to start. Not tomorrow. Don't wait until this clears up. Don't wait until you feel like you have X amount of money in your bank account or something else changes in your life to actually start that process. Start that now.
Technically, if you're waiting for the money in your bank account, you could use other people's money
There's
and leverage
ways.
other people's time
Take some
to
courses.
get to where you want to get to. So a lot, like you said, a lot of people always talk about, money, money, money. I need, especially when you talk about real estate. Oh, I need to be a millionaire to flip homes. Or I need to be rich to have that kind of money. No, you don't. You just don't have the proper education in order to be able to do this.
Yep.
Or the power of influence, or your circle, your proximity of power. So definitely.
So now this is kind of something curious for me. Do you have in mind like one of the biggest deals that you ever closed?
Honestly, the biggest deal to date has been the one that I just closed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't publish it on Instagram or social media like that. But I bought this building last year for $600,000. It was a fourplex. The wholesaler got it for, so I'm involved with a lot of wholesalers in town, and they sent it to me. They picked it up at $560.
Okay.
Wholesaled it to me for $600. I don't really care what he got it for, because as long as it works for me, then it makes sense.
You're a good investor. You're a good buyer.
You're a good buyer.
Yeah. So then at $600, and then it was a fourplex. All the rents were below. I went ahead. I put them all through Section 8, increased the rents from $900 to $1,400 a door, and I wanted to refinance it with the bank. But the banks were saying that I need to put collateral. I needed to bring up like $100,000. They were just giving me the runaround. So I said, you know what? It's a hot market. I'm going to put it in the market. I put it for $1 million. I had 12 offers, and I just closed at $892.
Wow.
So, and I used a hard money lender for that deal. So from $600,000, he lent me $540,000. So I literally converted $65,000, and I cashed out about $302,000.
Wow.
$302,000.
Wow.
So that's $235,000 profit in 1 year.
Wow.
Most people don't even. You did that in one deal. Most people don't even make that
In a year,
2
in
years.
2 years,
Exactly.
3 years,
Exactly.
depending on what
It's
you're
just,
doing.
It's nuts, man.
4
Like,
years.
the way my whole life has just changed, you know, and it's real. You know, I'm authentic. That's something that I'm working on. You know, authentic hustle stories, because it's
a good
something
brand.
that I would like to create a podcast like this where it's authentic hustle stories, and I bring individuals onto the platform where they had an upbringing where it wasn't the best upbringing, like my upbringing, similar and humble beginnings, and bring them on, and just so I can highlight this to individuals that want to learn. You know, they want to take the time to listen and see. You know, I'm a believer. I love studying millionaires and billionaires, or listening to them. Because I can always pick up golden nuggets and then boom, put them in my business.
Absolutely.
That's great. How long did that deal take to formulate for you?
Well, last year. So I bought it in August, and then I just closed it a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. Dope. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. So 1 year, it's nuts. That's till date. That's been the biggest deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You know, I started wholesaling back in 2011. So it's been quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
And then the thing with me is, I don't go into a wholesale deal without doing 3 things. Like when I evaluate them, I'm looking to see if I'm going to keep it, if I'm going to keep it to fix it and flip it, if I'm going to keep it as a rental, or if I'm tied up with too many deals, assign the rights.
So when you're wholesaling, do you have different markets you go into? As far
I
as that, or do you
mainly
focus on a
stick to
particular-
Central Florida and Osceola County.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So you know your
I mean, I do Orange County and Polk County, which now is typically growing a little bit more, but this is the area that I'm focusing on. Central Florida.
You know your niche.
Yep.
Sticking to your niche. You have your exit strategies. You just call them out, right?
Yep.
Which is very important, specifically if you're a real buyer. So I want to talk about what's next for Javier.
For me, I'm 35. I'm getting married in November.
Oh man,
That's exactly what I want to pull out of you. So, by the way,
congratulations.
Yeah.
you talked about the struggles of relationships, because I know this because we talked about it. You know, and so you've had a lot of struggles, and now you're let's talk about it, bro.
Yep. So I'm getting married. It's something that I've always had big to me from as far as a goal. The next thing is having kids. I want to have kids. So those are the next 2 big things, besides writing a book and besides the course that I'm working on, and just continue working on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I'm always looking for deals, you know, evaluating deals, and now looking to merge with my dad to buy multi-families. But mainly, those will probably be in other states. But the biggest thing is getting married, doing things before God, having kids, you know, because I felt like when I was growing up, I wanted to have that foundation before I started building the house.
Yeah.
So, you know, as far as finances.
Mm-hmm. Well, you definitely got the foundation.
Yeah. So it took some time, man,
Yeah,
but it's like you got to stay focused and committed to whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very goal-oriented, workaholic as far as working smart,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You work smart, not harder.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now what we like to do, we're going to ask you about a certain tool or maybe a key hire that I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I want you to be a little bit more specific. A key hire that has really helped you in your delegation process, maybe executive admin or a particular tool that you're like, man, I can't live without this particular thing. This does what I need to happen in my business, and I'm hands off because of this particular thing. Do you have anything in mind that, or a certain individual that does the different transactions or whatever might be really
I
like
think the
that
biggest
right
thing
hand for you?
for me, for all the success is just building that connection and the rapport and relationship with my hard money lenders.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my private lenders. They're not big corporate. They're private lenders that are typical individuals, and just the relationships that I've built with all my mentors. I have a spiritual mentor, a financial mentor, a physical mentor. Those individuals are very, very important to me. I won't say particular a system, more on a relationship. When I know that I'm going through something, I got to evaluate a deal or something in my life, personal or business. I know the right individual to ask, go out to dinner, go out to lunch, and then those individuals just, not necessarily what they tell me, but through them, I feel like something is said where it points me in like direction and guidance that I need to go to.
So your circle.
Yeah, my
Your
circle.
influence, your
Yeah,
circle.
yeah, my
So
circle. And
you
then
said private lenders. How can
so
people get access to that?
as far as, so there's two different things. There's private lenders and there's hard money lenders. Private lenders are typically a doctor, an attorney. For me, I met a lot of these individuals through networking events and also relationships that have carried over from my dad. A lot of them are bankers, previous bankers that, you know, they just raise money and then they
Lend it out.
yeah, lend it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's also hard money lenders, which I can give out. Those individuals are like Lending One, Lending Home, Civic Financial Services, Lima Capital, Dominion Financial Services. Those are companies that will typically lend you 80% of the deal. You have to put 20%. As you get more savvy, or if you already are savvy, you can probably increase those numbers too. And then they can also lend you 100% of the financing. As long as you have a contractor that gives you an itemized sheet of the repairs, you submit it and they give you 100% of the repairs.
That's a big gem.
That's exactly what I was trying to pull out of you. So, for the people that are listening that want to get into the world of flipping, or you know anything in real estate, and they're looking for the private lenders, they're looking for the hard money lenders, because I get a lot of these questions asked. So, you know, what are you saying to these people? Like, what if you wanted to talk to a private lender right now to lend you money? I mean, you can't just say, "Hey, I'm looking for some money. What's up?" You know, there has to be some rapport building or something that you built to get those relationships.
Yeah. The biggest thing is they want to make sure that it's a deal. So they're going to run comps. You have to get good with running your numbers. Running your numbers is crucial in real estate. That just means going out, circling your home, 0.25 miles up to a mile, and checking what has been sold in the last 30 to 60 days around that particular property. The second thing is you gotta sound like you have experience. And if you already have experience, great. But sounding like you have experiencing and then leveraging other people's results if you don't have the results. That's how you can get in the door. You got to get savvy with your communication. A lot of people stutter, and people can, if someone calls me, I know if you're a rookie or not.
Right.
You know, with the questions 100%. I'm going to ask. So if you're savvy enough to communicate and savvy enough to go by and dodge those questions fluently, you're going to get a deal.
Right.
You know, done. Now, you typically nowadays, I call a lender and I say, hey, listen, I just got a contract. So I just got these two contracts, and I got them for $100,000. The relationships that I have now with these individuals, I'm calling them and I'm saying, hey, I got the property for $100,000. or I actually, no, I don't say it like that. I say, listen, I just picked up 2 properties. They're worth about $150,000, and I need a loan for $105,000. And they run their numbers. They see that as make sure. I know that I'm telling them 70%. Then I go back and I get those properties. I got those properties for $100,000 a piece. So I pulled 105 so I can cover the closing costs on each. But it's just I gotta show them also that not only have I been doing this, so my results, my experience, that it does. Like I gotta show them support and comps. I can't just be blowing smoke.
Right.
Because people that are gonna lend money, they're gonna want to protect their money. And for example, when I'm at events, I constantly ask individuals that are not in real estate, hey, where do you invest your money? Do you invest it in your bank account, CD, stock, IRA? Where do you invest it? What are the type of returns you're getting? How about if you were to invest that money in real estate and at a higher interest rate backed up with real estate in case that person defaulted? How would something like that interest you? Well, I'll never entertain it, but send me a deal. And then I send them a deal, and it's how you communicate that. Hey, listen, Bob, I just got this deal. It's an amazing opportunity. It's worth about $700,000. That's actually how I told the fourplex. There's a lender that, because my private lenders couldn't fund the deal. It was just a high number. So then I got referred to another private lender that was retired, never even met the guy, but over the phone I closed. That's the thing that I love doing now is closing. You know, like I love when a VA or another wholesaler or my realtors bring me someone, because I love closing. But yeah, I called the individual up. Hey, listen, I got this fourplex. Is average at the time. I told him it was average about $700,000, and I'm getting it for $600,000. I'm looking to get close to the $600,000. Where can you come in at? He said 500, and we met at 560 after communication, and that's it. That's how I landed that deal.
Oh. Wow.
I sell them on how much it's worth, not as how much I'm getting on the contract. A lot of people want to know how much you're getting on the contract, and they want you to put some skin in the game. Instead of that, what I'm teaching my students is I want you to hype up how much is worth, and then also show proof of how much it's worth, so you can get top dollar.
Absolutely.
As far as private lending. A lot of individuals, a lot of these harmony lenders, they want to make sure that you're putting 80%. But I don't mind putting 80%. But it's worth 150, so 80% of 150, 90,000. All right, I'll do 90,000.
Right. That's dope.
I love it, man.
Love it.
I mean, you just dropped a lot of gems for a lot of people, especially for
Hope
the
y'all
ones
had a
that
notepad.
right? The ones that are trying to get into real estate, or you've been thinking about owning a brokerage, or that had the same struggles you did, as well as private money. Like that's been a struggle for me. I have access to it now, but it was definitely a struggle. And learning your strategy about talking about how much it's worth and not about what is on the contract is a total gem.
Bro, it's just little things like that that can level you up. That's why it's so important to get around the right people that have the experience, that had to learn that, and they will just drop a gem on you that maybe they learned through their hard falls or different deals that may have fell through, and just in one little conversation you're like, damn, that's you just changed my whole game now. Like I can close this potential deal that I've been working on because of that information.
Right.
So your circle, your network is your network.
You guys are listening right now, like what Chris just said, and you heard it from the mouth of Javier. If you're working on a deal and you need lending, you already know how to talk to a lender now.
Absolutely.
We're all worthy. That's what I want to put out there, man. We're all worthy. We're all equal. No one here is better than another individual. I don't care if I'm sitting next to Jay-Z. At the end of the day, we all sleep, we all eat, we all have to do things, we all have the same 24 hours. Everyone is equal. It's just Jay-Z knows someone that knew someone. He has a skill and a talent. He has information he has gathered and practical information in the network that he's built, but everyone is equal. Absolutely. And that goes down to Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. It's just when I'm looking at them, I'm looking at me in the mirror because I could be them.
100%.
It's just we don't got to be an athlete. We don't have to be this big superstar. It's just a matter of committing to learning. All those individuals I named, they've committed to their craft or their skill.
Absolutely.
They've taken the time to practice after hours when none of the lights are on. They've committed to doing something that is now highlighted in the public.
You see the success. You don't see the hard work, the sleepless nights. And I like to say, why not me? I look at individuals like, why not me? Like, Why not? I'm smart.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I wanted to be in the NBA. That was my passion. That was my goal.
Well, I mean, I can understand why not
could
me for the
never see
NBA. I understand that. I'm not 7 foot tall, you know.
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", but I mean, at the same time.
I definitely wanted to be in the NBA too, but I just
I wanted once that bubble left me that I wasn't not gonna make it to the NBA because I didn't pursue it enough. I wanted to be a professional at something, and that's when real estate happened, and I feel like I'm a professional in that field. And you could be a professional in any field. It's just what you decide, what field you want to entertain, and what field you want to master.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't realize that a lot of that we're talking about today on this podcast, they can apply to any business,
Anything.
anything out there.
Anything.
It could
Absolutely.
be makeup, whatever. You know, this is a lot. Yeah.
And I think what you just said, Javier, is so important because you have individuals that may be, say, a janitor, right, or whatever the case is. But now, if you put your everything into being that janitor and you become the best janitor there is, now you can train other janitors. You can put a course on how to be the janitor. You can be the guru of janitors, right? You can be a millionaire janitor. That is a process and that is a position that you can take if you take the lead on it, right? So that initiative and anything you do can be successful. Like you can be a millionaire at anything.
Anything. There's millionaires daily happening, like right now. You know, it's just like Chris just said, just gotta go out and do it, and you gotta
Take that initiative.
You know, when I was a kid, so any kid out there that's thinking about, damn, I want to be a millionaire, just look at it like this. I always break things into smaller numbers, and being a millionaire is only $1,000 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you duplicate that?
All right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like it.
So many different ways. But Javier, so Jeff, we have our ebook that I wanted to go ahead and talk about, but then at the same time, I wanted to give everybody some information on how they can contact Javier and the different things you have going on. And so if you could just let them know how to contact you and your information.
So yeah, if you're looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest here in Central Florida through the brokerage, you can find me at www.fontsrealty.com. My personal cell phone number, which I give out, is 407-234-4228. If you're looking to sell a property, my investment company is Statewide Home Solutions, and you can find us at WeBuyAnyHomeNow.com. And then if you are looking to get mentored in the real estate space, I go over mindset, personal development, besides being a successful realtor and a successful real estate investor. You can find me at JavierInspiredMe.com. And then go follow me on Instagram at JavierInspiredMe.
Absolutely. Yeah, please do. I mean, if you don't take advantage of that, I'm sorry. You heard all the gems that Javier has dropped
What's
for us.
crazy is that he drops these gems on social media all the time. So
follow
make sure
him.
you follow him.
Yes,
you know?
and follow us too, VA Kings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
Kings
follow.
well, if you, just in case, if you're not, just in case, you never
Just in
know.
case.
So tell your mama to follow us too. All right, and your daddy, and your cousin, and your girlfriend,
Yeah, your
and
whole
your
family.
sister,
And just
your
watch
brother.
out. Watch out for social media. There's a lot of fake gurus out there. You gotta go start targeting those gurus. And then pretty soon I'm gonna have that little blue check mark, you know, so it's just a matter of
Look at them blue check marks.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of focusing on the individuals that are really doing things out there. Obviously you have to audit these individuals, so take some time. Don't commit no funds while you're auditing them.
Facts.
But just audit them, meaning conversate with them, meet with them.
And also to add to that, what I normally do is get referrals, right? So I always look at an individual, if they're trying to sell me a service, I'm also going to ask my circle around me if anybody used them, or if there's a service like that everyone's using that I know of. Because if I know my circle of people are using that, I'm going to gravitate to them rather than some new person that's trying to sell me something that I have no clue on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and if you don't have a circle, then look at their referrals and just kind of do
Right.
more research on it.
Yeah.
But so obviously, if you are looking to get into, if you're working a 9 to 5 or you're in a business and you're trying to expand your business, you're looking to delegate, we do have our ebook, and they can find that on.
Yeah, so you guys can actually find that on our site, virtual wholesaling. Bro, hired. Oh my God.
We have a free ebook.
We'll put the link.
We
in
don't
the
know
bottom.
where the link is at right now because we delegated that.
This
So
is true.
Listen, if you guys need to delegate anything in any business, you guys are definitely going to need a virtual assistant. And I want to vouch for them too, that their virtual assistant helped me tremendously grow my investment company. So if you guys are looking for a virtual assistant that you can delegate small tasks like cold calling, like sending a DM in Instagram or Facebook, these guys are the people to talk to. So
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the
Absolutely
love.
appreciate that.
But you guys can go to vaocity.com, vaocity.com. We do have our class you're talking about, virtual hiring class, .com.
Yep.
And you can get that ebook.
It will show you how to actually find your own virtual assistant. So we have different products for you, and also free products. So check us out, follow us on Instagram, and until next time, we first of all thank you for embracing the fucking delegated mentality, right? And this is Chris,
This is Jeff.
and fuck it,
Delegate it.
let's go.
Heard them lasers talking now and we don't pay that no mind. Didn't need to watch them know that I'll be here in no time. Put a candle on it, had to